Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Coronavirus Conversations. So we're going to start with some of our sponsors. We have Wix by Mika. She has wax specials on her personal for your personal waxing products. We also have Elder Janie Flowers. She has a prayer prep. It's every Thursday night. It starts at 7 o'clock and it is 15 minutes of power pack word and word knowledge. Take an opportunity to visit her on that. And also the absolutely fabulous McCall Sims. She is an amazing uh, she has an amazing fashion line and also fashion sense. So if you need a little help, with your fashion, she can help you to coordinate some amazing outfits, an amazing process. And it is Modish of Savannah. And it's modishofsavannah.com to get to her. So thank everyone for watching. Thank everyone for being here. So I am back. I do apologize for being out for such a long time. So now I'm back um, to give you some coronavirus conversations and what is currently going on. All right. So if you don't know, my name is Kenneth Davis. If you are watching me on Facebook or YouTube, make sure that you are liking and subscribing to our channel so that we can find out information. This is my basket. I had to bring my stuff down, so I was wondering what was that behind me. So y'all apologize. I apologize. I was like, what is that? That is my basket in which I keep all of my supplies in. So, all right, y'all. So coronavirus conversation. One of our conversations we need to have is the children going back to school. So now we see the children will be going back to school. They started with the big kids, and now the little kids will begin to go back on Monday. So now what will happen? All right, now we see as the with COVID-19 is affecting people at a different rate. With the COVID-19 stream, it is now affecting children, where children are being affected more. Most children have underlying issues, in addition to children that don't have underlying issues. Because every time that it mutates, it does affect the adult body and also now the child body differently. So now we actually see children that are being affected and even hospitalized with more symptoms that was more customary done by adults. So the probability of a child getting it is now going to the same amount as an adult. And the actual way that they take care of the virus, you have to know that you can't give the same amount of supplements, or you would have to go to someone to get something established for your child so that they can live a better or a cleaner life. So I think that is going to be a big struggle as we begin to integrate children into the classroom, because integrating children into the classroom is a little um it's all children won't be able to keep on the mask all day because we don't have adults that are able to keep on mask all day. Some children you're not going to have a problem, but you'll have the same problem. You have the dryness of the mouth. You have everything. And as they are exposed to maybe adults, we don't know. So unless every school is testing the COVID testing other than just temperature check, because everyone doesn't have a fever. So that either one or the other, just to find out what is actually going on. So make sure that you are keeping your children safe during this time, whether they are doing it virtually, if your choice is virtual learning, or if you do on hand learning and have to send them back to school, because we understand every parent situation is different. Every child's learning situation is different. And we need to do that to make sure that as we send our children back, we're sending them into a safe environment and we're sending them back safely. So make sure you're keeping up with that. The next thing in which I would like to talk about is I did see, I watch Bianca King. So if you have not seen it, her lives are very funny, but they are very funny, informative. Um, and she was talking about maybe about a week and 2 weeks ago we were talking, and we discussed her her children, well, she has one of her children has special needs in which they have to be done a certain, every child with special needs that you'd have. I don't know. We don't call them special needs. We call them with a learning curve. And maybe they need special attention, and they have their IPs, and they have different courses and every criteria. As being with this new criteria, it has not been, as we see in an article that I posted to my page today, that there are children that our school system, our local school system, was not doing as much and not able to do as much as their IP has required. So that means that we need to work harder, we need to work smarter, and we need to be more effective at how we are creating a learning environment for our children, even our regular children or our children that needs the additional attention. We have to make sure that we are making sure that it is done the way that she explains it. It is so amazing, and I really just love. I mean, it's hilarious. I mean, it's comical of how she says it. But it's the heart of the mother, but also it is a very informed conversation that she has. So if you don't know that, you have to make sure that when your child has an IEP or it has any type of special needs, or they're in the children that are in the special need classes, you make sure that they're able to get the same level of care, because now you have certain children that have not been in school since last year. And that is not very effective when we don't have our children in school. Our children need to be in school. Our children need to be in school, and they always have um, they always have questions. They always have statements, and they always have an issue that maybe a parent or someone may can assist them. And even that assistance, because some levels of the IEP training, the parents are not skilled enough to provide that for them. They can do their best, but that special attention that brings it about, it's just not, has not been done. And that's the best way. It has not been done, not to its best capability. Maybe it has been instructed or been tried to be done, but it has not been done. And our children, for the last 2 years, that this last year 2020 and this year 2021, they hit a deficit. And now, as we're going into it, they're trying to get the children back to school during this time, so that at least they can have about 5 months back in a school setting, because there has to be an acclimation. As we send children back to school, that child has to become reacclimated to school, to the school process. Because when you have a child that's been home and they've only been doing 2 hours of study and then an hour off, or 3 hours, excuse me, and then off. And then next thing you know, we go back to they're in a setting where they're there for 6, 7, 8 hours. That's going to take some acclimation. We're going to find some behavioral problems in which we have to have accommodations in place, that they do not take those same accommodations out on the child, but they begin to find out behavioral modifications in which they can put into place, because no one wants to hear that their child is not, that their child is antsy and all. They have to be reacclimated. That is almost a year out of school. So as you go back, we don't expect them to be doing maybe as much, but there has to be some acclimation to the classroom, and there are some discipline guidelines that has to be reinforced, and you cannot be as hard on those children as they begin to go back to school, because as you think about it, they've been home. So maybe some of the rules are not as strenuous as our school system may be, but that child has been in a more relaxed atmosphere, and now it's becoming more a defined and a more strict learning environment. So becoming, as they go back, that is a part. that you need to make, that we as parents and community and even uncles, aunties, make sure that our children have this opportunity to take the best advantage of that. So make sure that we are providing that child with the most and the best training and social skills, and because these are, this time we still have the virus going on, because now the children have been watching it on the news and seeing how the actual flow of the coronavirus have been going on. So this have been making an awesome impact on those children as far as the fear, because now some school systems have been in, and they drop the fear level because they never stop the child's routine of coming. Although there are several cases in those communities that have been identified as being coronavirus, that but they are still um, they still maintain their school system, so that it still allowed them to go to school. Um, she, Bianca also stated about, there were some amazing things that she talked about, the exemption of the tests, and if you want your child to be exempt from some of the standardized tests, there is an actual form that you can have filled out and taken, so that your child will have that opportunity to advance. Because sometimes, yes, sometimes it can be troublesome, and sometimes you can be overwhelmed, that child, especially in this year's setting. And to my and to my opinion, and how I feel about it is, I think this year needs to be a pass. Last year and this year needs, everyone just need a pass, because the learning environment, because that we did not expect this to happen, the preparedness of the actual learning environment and curriculum has been completely off. So we have not had the actual benefit of a classroom setting with a teacher or instructor. We didn't have that opportunity to have that. So now we have to go back to an alternative way of learning. So as we begin to redevelop our children, our children's lives, and how they see it, we have to make some hard decisions as far as to what we're going to do moving forward. The SAT and the PSAT, it is important that your child take those things still, regardless of there being exemptions. Some schools are exempting, but some schools, the criteria requires for them to maintain and still take the SAT and PSAT before they have their actual entrance into their school. So please still encourage your children to take that SAT, study and take the PSAT, find out information about the SAT and test. If they don't have it, go to YouTube University. That is the new school. That is the new place. If you know someone that is a proctor, or someone that tutors for the SAT, information, as much information as you can, and even training your child for that. Because now, as they are getting older and they're still going to go off. We saw great signings of students for football, and hopefully after basketball season we will begin to see more of our students go off to college. But as we send them off, we still want them to maintain a level of safeness as they go, because we want them to be healthy, we want them to be whole, and we want them to be safe throughout this time. So if you have any questions, you will see on the bottom, there's scrolling. If you have any questions, please make sure that you put it on, and I'll make sure I'll answer them. Um, our next thing is to talk about is um, where are we now with the vaccination? With the vaccination, we are at an amazing place where more people are getting it. But there is one downfall to the actual part, and that is everyone is not going back for their second shot. After they receive their first shot, they're not going back for their second shot. It is important that
everyone take as many as will to take the shot. Why take the shot? There are two reasons. The shot does not prohibit you from catching coronavirus. Okay? Let's say that. The shot does not prohibit me from getting coronavirus. No, it doesn't. But the shot will stop you from getting the worst extent of it. It will take some of the sting out of it. There are that the in as being a recipient of, I did not have an opportunity. I was scheduled to take the shot. I wasn't going to tell anybody I was going to take it. I was just going to take it. But I caught the virus before I had an opportunity to take the shot. But they are everyone have a different experience with the shot, as they have a different experience with the coronavirus. You don't know what type of, because most people that have taken it, they had a little pain in their arm on the first day, the first shot, and after that, the second shot was easy. No one was sick. No one had it. But these are some essential things that you have to do. You make sure you take your ibuprofen. You make sure you eat after you get the shot. Remember, it is putting antibodies into your body. So you want to make sure that you have the best advantage towards your shot. So make sure that you want the optimal appreciation, or the optimal um you want the optimal shot. You want it to take full effect in your body for the healing. So you want to make sure that it's in your body, but you want to make sure that your body is very prepared for it. In addition, you have to be on a vitamin regimen. Everyone knows that I really believe in vitamins. Um, vitamins have vitamins made my COVID experience very um, not as hard as it could have been. My vitamin regimen is consistent, and I watch it and I do it every day. I am going to add more vitamins onto it because I want to live a healthier lifestyle. It is imperative that we find out a vitamin that works for our bodies, or a herb, or that works towards our bodies positively, than a negative effect that some vitamins, some pills, some medications that it takes on our body, because it does sometimes have a poor adverse effect on us. It is also important that we know how our body is going to function as it takes this virus. Because a lot of people are not taking the shot, and I've heard so many different things about it. To me, I feel it makes me, in a sense, a lot sad, because I see, working in the hospital, I see a lot of people that have the virus, and a lot of people that get through it, a lot of people that they transfer unit from having the virus to the step down units, a no virus. And I see a lot of people that don't have the same thing, because some people have walked in or rolled in, and they don't go home to be with their family. They leave the hospital, and they're deceased. And it's we can't know how it's affecting everyone, or what it has an effect on their bodies. So we have to make sure we are doing our due diligence. We are finding ourselves, we're being proactive as far as our health, and what we're going to do towards our health. um, I was talking to one of my friends today, and when I was talking to her, I was like, when I had the virus, I asked everybody to pray for me. I wanted everybody to pray for me. I mean, I wanted the ones that could get, God could, that I know could get a prayer through. I didn't care if you might get a prayer through, you maybe get a prayer through, you almost can get a prayer through, or maybe it's a little piece, or even if you couldn't get a prayer through, I wanted everybody praying, because I knew that during that time that I did not have the physical strength to get through the virus. I didn't have any to do warfare in the spirit. I didn't have any. strength to do it. So I knew that I needed a village of people to help me, naturally and also spiritually, because although I stayed online and I gave you updates, it was not easy for my body to go through a lot of that. And which have identified it is when I look at my hair, I have gray, my hair has grayed more. So anytime that I go through like trauma or something happens, my hair grays. So it was 20 days that my body was compromised. With actually 18 days that my body was really until I was released. I got a negative COVID report on day number 17, 16, day number 15. But I had a cough. And by that cough, if anybody that know me before now, you know that my voice sounds different. Um, After the COVID, because of the extreme coughing spells, it changed my voice. Um, it changed my singing voice. So how I could sing before, I cannot sing like that anymore. I cannot, talking, it is affecting my voice, and now it's more or less of this is what I have, but I know how to work whatever I have. It's more hoarse sounding. For years I made sure that I didn't do anything to really damage my voice because I wanted to have a clear voice. And now still sometimes there are there's mucus, and also even not as much coughing anymore, but it's still just a dry feeling in my throat. So as time goes by, as my body begins to heal and it begins to mend, we're seeing it being more effective. We're seeing where um, we're recovering. So continue to pray for those that have been affected by coronavirus, because there are some lasting effects that someone has had on that it's had on their bodies, on their minds, on their spirits, because this has been a this has been very traumatic during this pandemic. That's why a lot of the fear of taking the taking the vaccination is one, because of the amount of loss. But I was watching Dr. Jill, and she has been the one that helped me to begin my medicine regimen. And what she said was something, and to me, it was powerful and it was informative. She said, taking the vaccination, she said she was unsure and information. It was 97%, and this, that, and the third. And then she said she made a conscious decision. She said, do I want to get coronavirus? And I don't know the effect it's going to have on me. Or do I want to take a vaccination? Will it make me knock out? You don't know. Will you have an adverse effect to it? You don't know. Will you be okay? But will you, if you catch coronavirus, will this help you through it? Yes. There are other companies that are making vaccinations and are getting it through, but remember, always look at their potency and their likelihood. Moderna and Pfizer, I think now, well, they were at 97%, and I think Johnson and Johnson was not as high. So make sure that you're checking on that, because you want to make sure you make the right decisions as far as to take the virus. So as we go into coronavirus conversations, what we're going to do other things is we're going to talk about the family fracture that happens with the loss of a loved one, especially during trauma. So during this pandemic, and if you know anyone that has lost someone, I'll be on tomorrow and we'll be talking about um, the actual loss, and it's called the fracture. And sometimes the loss of someone, and then sometimes the we understand where a consistency of bad behavior or something. So we're going to break that down. Actually, the loss of somebody, and to help the family so that we won't encounter fractures. Okay. So y'all, thank you for watching. Thank you. Make sure that if you're on our YouTube live, make sure all of you are liking and sharing the video. If you're on Facebook, make sure you are liking and sharing the video also. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening. And as we leave, let me go over some of our sponsors. Modish of Savannah, McCall Sims. She is a local fashion stylist. With also, she does a retail line of clothing. We also have Janie Flowers, Elder Janie Flowers, with her 15-minute sessions of prayer prep. This is a 15 minutes of Bible study that she teaches every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Come by and rest and get a word that can give you your respite care, your lunch until you can get to service on 1 week. But she does give you enough to last you. And we also have Wigs by Mika. Her she is an amazing esthetician, and also she provides a waxing service. So if you need your waxing, your personal waxing, hit her up. She's taking appointments. You can hit her up on Wigs by Mika. All right, everyone. Thank you for watching, and I will see you